You just crossed $100,000. Take a breath, because right now, in this exact moment, most people quietly destroy it. Not with a market crash, not with a bad economy, with a decision that feels completely reasonable. What if the real danger of hitting six figures isn't losing the money, but what the money makes you believe about yourself? Charlie Munger once said, "The first $100,000 is the hardest part of building wealth." He wasn't talking about the work, he was talking about the waiting. Because before this point, your effort is the engine. Every extra shift, every skipped expense, every hustle adds up in a straight line. But something changes at 100,000. Your money starts working harder than you do. At an average return of 8%, $100,000 earns roughly $8,000 a year. That is about $667 a month, arriving while you sleep. That's the trap hidden inside Munger's advice. People hear the hardest part is over and they relax. But relaxing is exactly when the damage begins. Let's follow three people: Diana, Carla, and Maya. All three hit $100,000 in the same year. All three felt the same relief. All three made a different mistake, and the math on each one is brutal. Diana got a bonus that pushed her past six figures. She didn't buy a yacht. She didn't quit her job. She just upgraded: a nicer apartment, a better car lease, a few more dinners out. Altogether, about $1,100 a month in what she called harmless upgrades. Harmless, until you run the numbers forward. Invested instead at 8% for 25 years, that $1,100 a month would have grown past $600,000. She didn't lose her money to a scam. She lost it to comfort. Have you ever upgraded your life the same way? One small purchase at a time, without noticing the total? Carla took a different path. She'd spent 7 years building discipline, automatic transfers, boring index funds, no panic during downturns. Then, $100,000 in her account, she felt something new: confidence. She moved a chunk of it into short-term options trades, chasing a tip from an online forum. 9 trading days later, 7 years of discipline were gone. Not because the market crashed, because she stopped treating her money like a marathon and started treating it like a sprint. This is the part almost nobody talks about. The first 100,000 doesn't just test your patience. It tests whether you believe you've earned the right to gamble. Then there's Maya. Maya did the opposite of Diana and Carla. She got scared. She'd read enough headlines about recessions and crashes that she moved everything into a savings account. Zero risk, she told herself. Completely safe. But safety has a cost too. With inflation running around 3% a year, cash sitting still quietly loses buying power every single year. Over just a few years, Maya's supposedly safe $100,000 lost more than $80,000 in real value. She never touched a stock. She still got smaller. 3 people. 3 completely different decisions. 1. Shared cause. What actually links overspending, overgambling, and hiding in cash? It's a vanished goal. Before $100,000, the target is obvious. Get to 6 figures, prove it's possible. Once you arrive, that target disappears, and the brain doesn't like an empty space where a goal used to be, so it invents a new one. For Diana, the new goal became a better lifestyle. For Carla, it became faster growth. For Maya, it became total safety. None of those goals were named on purpose. They filled the silence left behind. Have you ever noticed yourself chasing a new target right after hitting an old one, without ever deciding to? Here is where the math becomes almost unfair in your favor, if you let it work. This is the part of building wealth where the rule of 72 starts to matter. Divide 72 by your rate of return, and you get roughly how many years it takes money to double. At 8%, that's about 9 years. 100,000 becomes 200,000 in 9 years. 200,000 becomes 400,000 9 years after that. 400,000 becomes 800,000 9 years after that, without adding a single new dollar. Warren Buffett built the majority of his fortune after age 50, not because he suddenly got smarter, but because compounding needed decades to become dramatic. According to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, the median net worth for Americans aged 35 to 44 sits around $135,000. Cross 100,000 in your 30s, And the math above puts you on track to be a millionaire by retirement, doing nothing but not sabotaging yourself. But here's the uncomfortable twist. Income and wealth aren't the same thing, and plenty of high earners never let compounding finish its work. Some surveys have found that close to 40% of people earning $300,000 a year still live paycheck to paycheck. Higher income without higher awareness just means a bigger version of Diana's mistake. So, what actually protects the first $100,000 once you have it? Start with debt, because not all debt behaves the same way. High interest debt, the kind sitting on credit cards, works against you faster than most investments work for you. That gets paid down first, aggressively. Low interest debt, like a mortgage locked in at a low rate, can often be left alone and outpaced by investment growth. Confusing the two is how people drain a six-figure cushion trying to feel debt-free when the math never asked them to. Next, replace the vanished goal on purpose, before your brain replaces it for you. Not with a vague idea like grow my money. A specific number, a specific age, a specific use. Diana needed a target for her extra income before comfort quietly became her target instead. Then, protect the money from your own future confidence. Carla's mistake wasn't ignorance. She understood investing better than most people ever will. Her mistake was assuming that knowledge earns the right to skip the boring plan, set a rule in advance, while you're still calm, about how much of your money can ever go toward a speculative bet. Write it down before the temptation shows up, not during it. And protect the money from your own fear, the way Maya couldn't. Some cash on hand is wise. An emergency fund matters. But treating your entire net worth like an emergency fund means inflation does the damage a crash never got the chance to. A reasonable amount stays liquid. The rest needs to be working, even conservatively, even in something as unglamorous as a diversified index fund. Here's the 7-step version, stripped down. 1. Name a new specific goal immediately, so nothing fills that space for you. 2. Attack high-interest debt first, and only that debt. 3. Protect low-interest debt from unnecessary early payoff. 4. Set a hard cap on speculative investing, in writing, before you feel confident. 5. Keep a reasonable emergency cushion and invest the rest instead of hoarding it. 6. Automate your contributions so discipline doesn't depend on your mood. 7. Revisit the plan once a year, not once a week, because checking constantly is how patience turns into gambling in disguise. You can see the same pattern play out inside companies, not just individual accounts. Amazon spent years posting thin profits on purpose, plowing cash back into warehouses and infrastructure instead of paying it out. Jeff Bezos treated the company's first real pile of cash the way Maya should have treated hers, not as something to protect out of fear, but as fuel to keep compounding. Costco took a different route with the same patience. It kept margins famously thin, betting that steady, boring growth in membership fees would outlast flashier competitors chasing quick profit. Neither company panicked into a shortcut the moment the money arrived. That restraint is the entire lesson hiding inside your own $100,000. Notice what's missing from that list. There's no step about working harder. There's no step about a better job or a bigger hustle. That's the real shift that happens the moment you cross $100,000. Before this point, effort was the main character. After this point, patience takes over the lead role, and effort becomes a supporting one. Diana, Carla, and Maya all had the effort part figured out. That's how they got here in the first place. What separated their outcomes wasn't intelligence, and it wasn't luck. It was whether they noticed the vanished goal before it quietly wrote a new one for them. So take that same breath again, the one from the very beginning. You just crossed $100,000. This time, don't relax into it. Decide, on purpose, what happens next before your comfort, your confidence, or your fear decides for you.